Lately, I've been hearing the same story from many of my patients over 60. They tell me, Doctor, I get dizzy in the afternoons. Sometimes my memory feels cloudy. I wake up at night drenched in sweat, but my labs say everything looks fine. Am I just getting old? And that's the question that lingers. Is it really age or is something else quietly shaping their health? Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast, where we explore how wisdom from East and West can meet to guide us through aging with strength and clarity. I'm Dr. John Miller, and today we're looking at a hidden but powerful piece of the puzzle: blood sugar stability. Most people think spikes only come from cakes or candy, but in truth, many of us are blindsided by foods and habits we never suspect. The result? Nearly half of older adults already live with prediabetes, often without knowing it. To help us understand what's really happening and how something as simple as a leaf could change the story, I'm joined once again by a remarkable guest. He is one of the wisest physicians I've ever met, a master of traditional Chinese medicine from Chengdu, still sharing his knowledge well into his 80s. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, welcome back.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. It warms my heart to be here again. In China, we often say, "The tree does not fear the wind if its roots are deep." The body is that tree. If our roots, our organs, and their balance are strong, the winds of aging cannot easily shake us. But when the roots are neglected, even the smallest breeze can feel like a storm. That is why symptoms like dizziness, fatigue, or night sweats may not be just aging. They are the whispers of imbalance, calling us to listen before they grow louder.
That's a beautiful way to begin, and I think it sets the stage perfectly for what we'll explore today: how subtle signs we often overlook can connect back to something as simple as the rhythm of sugar in the blood. So let's start at the beginning. When I see a patient in their 70s or 80s who feels tired after meals, wakes at night, or forgets words, my training tells me to look at the brain, the heart, maybe hormones. But you're saying blood sugar, like something so simple, can be behind it?
Yes, it is simple, but also subtle. Blood sugar is like the tide of the ocean. Too high, and it erodes the shore. Too low, and the boats are stranded in the sand. What the elders feel, the foggy mind, the trembling hands, the restless sleep, is often the tide pulling too fast in one direction, then crashing back the other way.
That's interesting, because in Western practice, we usually only notice blood sugar when it's extreme. Diabetes, hypoglycemia, those red flags. But you're saying that even smaller swings can cause daily suffering?
Exactly. Imagine a lantern flickering. The flame is not out, but it does not give steady light. The body is that lantern. If sugar rushes in quickly after a meal, the flame leaps too high, then falls low, leaving the person in darkness for a time. These symptoms can sometimes be due to sugar swings, but they can also signal other conditions, so they should always be checked with a clinician.
And it makes sense physiologically, too. When sugar spikes quickly, insulin surges. Then the drop can leave someone shaky or confused. Over years, those ups and downs tire out the pancreas, strain the liver, and inflame the vessels.
Yes. In Chinese medicine, we would say the earth element, the spleen and stomach, loses its harmony. The food does not transform smoothly into energy. Instead, it becomes phlegm, heaviness, or fire. The Western words are different, but the meaning is the same. The system is burdened, and the organs cannot keep pace.
So, when an older adult complains of memory lapses or sudden fatigue, the first thought isn't always dementia or heart failure. Sometimes it's as basic as, how is their blood sugar moving throughout the day?
Yes, and more importantly, how fast. Modern medicine often measures averages, but life is lived in moments. It is the wave, not the sea level, that knocks the boat over.
That really reframes things. Instead of only checking fasting glucose once a year, we should be looking at the body's rhythm. The spikes, the crashes, the signals patients describe in everyday language?
Correct. and the signals are often clear if we learn to hear them. The afternoon dizziness, the craving for sweets at night, the sudden anger or sadness after a heavy meal. These are the body's way of saying, "My tide is unsteady."
When I think about the patients I've seen, there are a few patterns that stand out. First, many seniors think sugar is only about desserts. They avoid cake or candy, but then have juice or crackers before bed, and wonder why they feel unsteady. Second, some rely on medication alone, assuming the pills will do all the work while their meals stay the same. And third, many believe symptoms like fatigue or forgetfulness are just the price of aging, so they never connect them to what they're eating.
You have described it well. Let me share how we might see these mistakes. The first mistake, thinking only of sweets, is like fearing the tiger but ignoring the snake. Bread, rice, even fruit juices can strike quietly. They look harmless, but they move the tide suddenly. The second mistake, depending only on medicine, is like mopping water without turning off the tap. The medicine absorbs what spills, but the flow continues. Unless we change the source, the flood returns. The third mistake, blaming age, is perhaps the saddest. In Chinese we say, "Do not call the lamp old when it only needs oil." Many elders believe their body is failing, when in truth it is only hungry for balance.
That's powerful. So instead of blaming themselves or assuming decline is inevitable, people need to see these patterns as signals, not sentences.
Exactly. And once they see the signal, the solution becomes possible. The body is never against us. It only asks us to listen and respond.
So if avoiding hidden sugars and relying only on medication aren't the answers, what do you recommend instead? What's the better path for someone in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s who wants steadier energy and clearer focus?
When the tide is restless, we do not build a higher wall. We calm the water. In my practice, I often turn to nature first. And 3 leaves in particular have guided my patients for many years. They are not exotic. They do not come in golden bottles. They are simple, bitter, and patient. Yet each one speaks to the body in its own quiet way.
3 leaves. That already sounds poetic. Which one do you usually begin with?
The first is white mulberry leaf. In the Chinese countryside, elders have long brewed it into tea before meals. Modern science later showed why. Inside this leaf is a compound called DNJ. It gently slows the enzymes that turn starch into sugar. Imagine sugar not rushing in like a flood, but dripping slowly, like rain from a roof after the storm. This means the pancreas works calmly, without panic. The elder feels steady after eating, not heavy or sleepy.
That makes sense. Pharmacologically, it's like flattening the glucose curve. Instead of sharp peaks and valleys, you get smoother waves. And I've seen studies showing exactly that. Mulberry leaf can significantly reduce post-meal spikes.
Yes, it does not fight the body, it harmonizes with it. Just a cup of tea before a starch-heavy meal, rice, noodles, bread, and the tide becomes gentle.
And the second leaf?
The second is chicory. In China, we say bitterness clears heat. This leaf is bitter, yes, but in its bitterness lies medicine. Chicory wakes the liver, reminding it to flow freely. It also carries inulin, a special fibre that feeds the small allies in our gut. When the gut is balanced, insulin listens more carefully. Chicory's inulin may support gut health and modestly improve insulin sensitivity, which can help meals feel steadier for some people.
That's fascinating. In Western terms, inulin is a prebiotic fiber. It nourishes good bacteria like bifidobacteria. Those bacteria then reduce inflammation, which we know improves insulin sensitivity.
Exactly. Chicory does not push sugar down. It teaches the body to listen again. For elders with bloating, cravings, or fatigue, it is like a teacher bringing order to a noisy classroom.
And the third leaf?
The third is papaya leaf. Perhaps the most overlooked. It contains enzymes like papain. that help the pancreas digest and regulate. At the same time, its antioxidants sweep away the silent stress that clogs the cells. When the pancreas and liver are supported together, sugar flows where it should, into energy, into healing, into life itself.
Early studies, mostly in animals, suggest papaya leaf may influence insulin and pancreatic function, but robust human data are limited, while protecting the liver from oxidative damage. That's a complete picture.
Yes, these three leaves do not compete, they complement. One slows the flood, one clears the channels, one restores the workers. Together they remind the body of a rhythm it once knew well.
What I love about this doctor, Hinohara, is how these leaves aren't just folklore. Western science is actually catching up to what you've been using for decades. Take white mulberry leaf. I've read randomized controlled trials showing it can significantly reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes compared with placebo, and with virtually no side effects. That's remarkable.
Yes, nature often works quietly, so its effects are overlooked. But when the science arrives, it simply confirms what the old farmers already knew. A small cup of tea before a meal can change the day.
And with chicory, we see the same. Studies show its inulin fiber directly improves gut microbiota, lowering inflammation and supporting better insulin sensitivity. Which means this isn't just about sugar, it's about calming the whole system.
Exactly. In Chinese medicine, we would say it nourishes earth to support metal, the gut and spleen to support the lungs and energy. Science gives new names, but the body's wisdom remains the same.
Then there's papaya leaf. I found research suggesting it can support pancreatic function, even in models of diabetes. It seems to improve both insulin production and how cells use that insulin. Plus, its antioxidants fight oxidative stress, which we know is a major factor in aging.
Yes, the leaf reminds the organ of its strength and clears the fog that surrounds it. That is why elders often feel more energy, more clarity, even better wound healing when this leaf is used gently.
So, what's amazing is this: three leaves used for centuries in traditional medicine are now being confirmed through modern studies. East and West aren't in conflict here, they're harmonizing.
Harmony is always the goal. Whether you call it DNJ, inulin, or papain, the essence is the same. Food as medicine, rhythm as healing, balance as prevention.
That's a bridge we all can walk.
Let me share a story. Some years ago, a woman came to me in Chengdu. She was 75, a retired teacher. Her family told me she had become forgetful, sometimes dizzy after lunch, sometimes waking at 3 in the morning soaked in sweat. Her doctor had whispered the word dementia to the family, and they were very afraid. When she sat in my clinic, I watched her carefully. Her eyes were kind but restless. Her tongue showed dampness. Her pulse was slippery, fast after meals. I asked her what she ate. She smiled and said, "Doctor, I am very healthy. Only fruit juice in the afternoon and rice crackers before bed." I could already see the tide. Too much sugar arriving too quickly, then falling away in the night. I told her, "This is not the fading of the lamp. This is the oil burning too fast." So we changed only small things. Instead of juice, warm water with a slice of chicory root. Instead of crackers, a small cup of mulberry leaf tea in the evening. Twice a week she brewed papaya leaf with ginger after lunch.
Simple changes, nothing radical.
This is one person's experience. Some people report improvements, but results and timing vary widely. By 1 month, she told me, "Doctor, I no longer fear the dark. I wake with light." Her family cried with relief. They realized she did not need a diagnosis of decline. She needed balance, rhythm, and patience.
That's extraordinary. And it shows the danger of assuming that every sign of confusion or fatigue is permanent aging. Sometimes it's the tide, sugar rising and falling too quickly. And the solution can be as gentle as a leaf.
Yes, the body is rarely broken. It only waits for us to give it the right tools.
For those listening right now, I want to make this practical. If you're at home, over 60, and you've felt the dizziness, the afternoon crash, or the foggy memory after meals, what can you safely try? Let me summarize what we've discussed. First, white mulberry leaf. Best as a gentle tea before your heaviest meal of the day, especially if that meal has rice, noodles, or bread. Second, chicory. A few raw leaves in a salad, lightly steamed with olive oil or brewed as a bitter tea to support the liver and the gut. Third, papaya leaf is sometimes brewed as tea in traditional use, but because strong human evidence is limited, it's best considered experimental and should be discussed with your doctor.
Yes, and let me add some small details. In research, standardized mulberry leaf extracts, measured for DNJ content, reduce post-meal glucose. Tea may help too, but its strength varies. For chicory, remember that bitterness is medicine. Start small, perhaps a few leaves or a half cup of tea in the evening, and increase only if your stomach feels comfortable. And for papaya leaf, always with respect. It is strong. 1 small cup every 2 to 3 days is enough. More is not better. Let the body adjust and listen.
That's important. We should emphasize that none of these are magic cures. They're gentle supports meant to work with the body. And for anyone on medications, especially insulin or blood thinners, it's wise to check with your doctor first.
Correct. Natural does not mean careless. These leaves are powerful precisely because they work. So we honour them by using them slowly, consistently, with awareness.
So the takeaway is simple. Try mulberry tea before a starchy meal. Add chicory into your weekly routine, even just as a tea. Use papaya leaf sparingly as a gentle support for the pancreas and liver. If you begin with these 3 steps, you may notice steadier energy, calmer digestion, and clearer focus within days.
Yes, and remember, healing does not need to be loud. The body responds to patience more than to force.
Dr. Hinohara, thank you once again for your wisdom. What I've learned today is that even something as overlooked as a leaf can reshape how we think about aging and blood sugar. It's humbling to realize that solutions don't always need to come from a prescription pad.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. I am grateful we can share this space together. In China, we say, the smallest grass still leans toward the sun. The leaves we spoke of today may be small, but they help the body lean toward balance, toward light. Aging is not a decline, it is a season, and every season has its nourishment if we know where to look.
That's beautiful. For those listening, I encourage you, try one small change this week. A cup of mulberry tea before dinner, a few chicory leaves on your plate, a gentle sip of papaya leaf tea. Watch how your body responds. And if you notice a difference, you'll have more steady energy, better sleep, clearer focus, let us know. Your story might encourage someone else to try.
Yes, and always remember, your body is not broken, it is waiting. Waiting for the right support, waiting for you to listen with kindness.
Thank you, Doctor. And thank you to everyone watching. This has been the Senior Health Podcast. Until next time, stay curious, stay gentle with yourself, and keep leaning toward the light.